Hey, welcome to today's video. Today's video is about leaders are big on information, but very rare are they big on transformation. Often when I look on social media, I see great one-liners or great quotes about success or leadership or even entrepreneurship. I'll see something like, great leaders do this, or great leaders don't do that, or successful people do this and not that, and if you want it so bad, then you need to do this, and you guys know what I'm talking about, right? The one-liners. But very rare do I see those people, or often do I see leaders actually have real transformation. Very rare do I see real change, or very little change at all. So let's be the very few leaders that embrace transition, that we embrace change, and that we use what we actually are learning. Because what's the point of learning something if we're not going to apply it? The greatest example of this is learning about a healthy lifestyle or dieting. Like we read an article or a book about living healthy, but then we go to a fast food restaurant on the way home or the next day. That there's no point of learning it if we're not going to use it. So again, let's embrace transition. Because, in fact, I'll just say this. Some of you guys are listening and say, I get it. Yeah, use what you're supposed to, learn, use what you're learning, and I get it. But let me tell you this. If you're like, well, I get it. Well, if you're learning about financial fitness, does your wallet prove that you know it? Or that you've transitioned or changed to that? If you're learning about health, has your waistline or your weight, has that really proved that you've mastered it? Or maybe you can sit there and say, well, I've learned this about leadership and I know about to be a leader. Well, does your skill level and your leadership, or do people actually say that you feel like you've really mastered it? So again, does your results and does your daily habits prove that you've mastered something? If not, we have a lot more to learn. But you know what? We have a lot more to be transformed by. Because a lot of times we learn things up here. We learn things, but we don't actually learn them here. We don't have revelation in our heart. Because if we don't have revelation in our heart, if we're not actually applying the things that we use, so if we don't really have real passion in our life, if we're not taking next steps, it just turns into information, which is no use. Again, there's no point of learning something if we're not using it. So let me challenge you as a leader to be heavy in transformation, not just information. Maybe you don't need to read another book because you actually haven't applied what you learned in the last book. So again, let's be masters of transformation and be the very few leaders in this world that actually are courageous enough to embrace transition, to embrace change for the better. Again, I feel like leadership these days is more about being right versus doing what is right. Don't be those leaders. Do what is right and transform your life as a leader.